get the water? I don't, sorry. I don't know where the water went. All right, welcome. Look, I know it's happy hour. I know you have dinner plans, and I'm gonna just start with that in mind, and I will let you know the whole reason I'm up here is that I hope that you guys go back there to booth 435 and check out Sonrai. Thank you. That's the agenda, right? So we have been partnered with them this past year, and this presentation is really about that partnership and what we found valuable about that, and hopefully you can do similar. Really just going to be 4 simple steps. What was Fiserv's challenge? Why were we looking for anything? Number 2, we're going to talk about tools a little bit and what can feel like when you're trying to go through the process. Then also the turning point. What was it that we did with Sonrai that actually made a difference, and why we then chose to actually move forward? And then of course the results. So Fiserv is a financial services company. We're global, and I think it's been said that we touch every household in the United States. I don't know if that's physically true or not, but we have grown and we have merged, and we still continue to buy companies and merge companies, and that has led to, over a period of years, where we are now multi-cloud. We have thousands of accounts. We have to manage those globally as well. And so what happens is every time you bring another company together, buy another product, you have this permissions tornado, for lack of a better word, right? And IAM is difficult, and we know, because when AI is all the hype, and of course we work in a regulated industry, so you will always have to prove that you have your cloud under control. And so one of the things that we were trying to implement, especially with the rise of AI, because everybody wants to know, what are you doing about AI? What are you doing about AI? So we had actually tried to implement some controls, and we didn't fully, we made an assumption about some SCP inheritance. It didn't turn out it worked that way, and we actually took an outage. And so this happened like middle of last year, right before AWS Reinforce. And so it just happened to be at Reinforce where I was swag hunting, right? We all walk around, we look for swag. And in that process, I ran across Sonrai. There's some thing there called a zombie hunter, and I was attracted to that. And so, walk up and we do some small talk, we exchange, what are you doing, what are you doing here? And, but in that process, they said, we automate creation and deployment of SCPs. At that point, I forgot about the t-shirt that I was hunting for. I forgot about the sticker. We exchanged numbers. We had a second date. We did a POC with them, and that went great. There was a few CloudFormation templates. I think it was like 30 minutes to set up. Ryan, my partner here, set that up. And it took several days to do the analysis. And when we saw the numbers, which we'll show you more of this in a bit, it was like, hey, wait, there's more to this than just our immediate need. So we said, let's see about buying it. Let's continue this relationship. And then this is what happened. Now, I'll tell you right up front, this has nothing to do with Sonrai. This was our processes. But real questions: do we need another tool? Why this tool? Don't we already have a tool that does that? Who's going to pay for it? Even after we get it up and running, who's going to operate it? Is it a cyber tool? Is it a cloud infrastructure tool? What is it? And so for us, the fact that we did the POC, and I would encourage you to do a POC, is that we had our data right there for us to see, and it was easy to do demos with other partners in our business, and in particular leadership. And when we did work out the fact that Sonrai offered something that we didn't have in any other tool, in any other way, and it was even more than that, we decided to go ahead. And the reason I brought all of that up is because this is what it feels like sometimes when everything's going on. You're one more meeting, one more question. Do we do it again? It's worth it. If the solution, any solution here, if it fixes your need, it's worth it. And that, to me, is why we did that. All right, 1 second. So this is where I'm going to spend most of this time. I'm actually going to explain this. Sorry about that. And I'm only going to explain enough for you to be interested to go to booth 435. Remember my agenda? So at the top, what you'll see is the scope. In the little drop down at the top, you can do that at the root org, any of your OUs, or you can go down to individual accounts. And by the way, these are not our numbers. This is a stock photo. Whatever scope you pick, those numbers will change to reflect what's based on that scope. So what is this? These are hero cards, I assume because you're a hero if you take action on those. The first one is IAM users and roles with excessive permissions. So the easiest way to say this is where we show you all the policies that were probably written with a wildcard, right? They're over permissioned, but in particular, they're not in use. So they're being flagged, not just being over permissive, they're just not being used. And you can take action by clicking on that button and it'll stage some stuff, it'll do some stuff. I'm not gonna tell you all the stuff that it does, that's these guys' job. But what it does is it prevents them from being used, and if they try to use them, it'll set off an alert, so to speak, and there's a workflow then that you can take to give people that permission to use those if they need to. But what it does is quickly gives you that layer of control. The second one, the whole reason I was hunting those stickers, the zombie hunters. Zombies represent identities which haven't been used. It's not about the permission, it's just not being used, right? It's junk in your accounts. And again, much like this protection here, you can quarantine the zombies such that whenever somebody say it was a quarterly thing that runs, when that happens, again, there's a workflow, it'll get triggered. Someone can then take action, they can reach out to that team. Hey, I see this alert, what is it? Do you really need it? And again, those action, automation, and then also the workflow behind it, those were the things that we didn't have in our system. By the way, we predate Control Tower. We have our own control tower, so to speak. And this type of stuff wasn't built into that, at least not in this way. The third one is the one that is what we were really looking for out of the gate, right? We have new services, new AI services coming out. We're going to leave here, there'll be more. And you can use this to turn them on or turn them off. And so it was nice to be able to see across thousands and thousands of accounts just how much we have in use, not in use, and then we can drill down to any level. So anytime we're working with one of our teams, one of the app dev teams, we can pull this up and we can get just another view of the data that shows they have junk in there, over permission stuff in there, and do they need that service? So we use that now as part of the AI COE, our Center of Excellence, that when teams have an AI project, they can come, they get approved, and then this is how we turn those services back on for them. The third parties was actually not something that was on there when we first looked at it. That was something they were adding. And that, or it might have been the regions, I forget now. But anyway, the third parties, the nice thing about that is in a single place, we can go and we can look in any account and we can see who's partnered with us. A lot of time, hopefully it's all okay, but normally it's vendors, SaaS vendors, people that you have relationships with, like Snowflake, where you have database connections and things like that. But you can also, from there, drill down in to see the policies. And so that is something, again, to try to go see all of that information the natural way through a query or whatever, that's a lot more difficult. Here, just from this console, we can really drill down, and if we choose, take action, you can block it. So that takes me then to the regions. Regions is, just like it says, there's new regions. AWS brings up good examples like India. For a long time, there was only one region there. In the banking, you need two. For DR, we always struggled with that other region. So when the regions come on, we can now say, hey, this application, does it actually need to be there? So we can control that way. Down at the bottom, you'll see are the services. So if you click on, wherever you click on up there, the numbers across the bottom, or the net service layer will tell you how many people are using it, and you can also drill into the sensitive permissions. So this is a thing that Sonrai's done for us, which is they have people all the time working the IAM. That's a full-time job, And that's just made it very easy for us. We don't have to guess now, and we take their sensitive permissions, and you can choose to protect again. So the key to all of that is when you take action in the far corner up there, you'll see the deploy button. And it'll take you to see what is staged, and from there you can deploy it, and I'll let them explain exactly how that works. All right, I'm at 20 minutes, so let's just finish up here. Real quick, I want to point out the lines of code and the hours saved. That essentially refers to the fact that if our policy is about 38, 40 lines per SEP, and we have over 1,000 accounts, that's lines of code that we didn't have to copy and paste, change the information, and deploy. And if I just calculated an hour per account, we saved over 1,000 hours. So the numbers are probably a lot more than that, but it is a way for you to look at getting, how can this tool pay for itself, okay? All right. With that, I got to go because I'm over the time, but thank you, everyone. I'll stick around. You can talk to me. Sonrai guys are at booth 435. Appreciate your time.